My name is Jackson Clark, and I'm the owner of Toh-Atin Gallery in Durango, Colorado. I think the interesting thing about what we do here is we're kind of in the last stages of keeping Navajo weaving going and promoting it to the American people and people around the world. Unfortunately, it's not an art form that's destined to survive as a major cultural influence on the Navajo people. The problem is that it takes so long to weave a Navajo rug and so many years to learn to weave it well that it's really difficult to devote that much time to creating a blanket that they're going to ultimately end up selling for less money than if they worked at a fast food restaurant and would probably get benefits. So it's not an easy time for Navajo weavers. You know, they're impacted by the same sort of economic adversity as the normal family. You know, groceries go up, gas goes up, living expenses go up, you're trying to get your kids in school. Everything costs more money, but the problem is there's a limit to how much, or there's a real limit to how much people are going to be able to pay for Navajo weaving in order to make it feasible to spend 4 months or 5 months weaving a beautiful rug. It used to be in the old days when they'd weave some of these old blankets that they would take maybe a year, you know, because they'd have to shear all the sheep, they'd have to go out and pick all the dyes that they used or arrange to get colors from other blankets that they would take apart. And so you could end up with 1.5 years or 2 years into a beautiful blanket. The interesting thing about weaving is that the Navajo people have always regarded it as something that they created to sell. There's very few Navajo families that actually have any rugs in their home. These are pieces that they created initially to wear as blankets when everybody in the family had a blanket. Then what happened is if you'd weave a blanket, you could take it to a trade fair, you could take it to a trading post. The woman, it was her blanket, everything belonged to the woman. She owned the sheep and the product of those sheep, so it was her blanket. And she was the one that would take it to the trading post. Well, then she could sell it and create a better life for the family. Well, that continued all the way through the beginning part of the 1900s and into the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and then it began to drop off as women found that they became older, number one. Number two, education began to get a little better so people could get jobs. There were more border towns like Farmington and Gallup and Holbrook where people could go to work during the day. There became an opportunity to work in the oil and gas business, say south of Farmington, New Mexico. People began to do that, and so there was some income that was coming in. So Navajo weaving has been under a lot of pressure to survive just because of the way that the times have gone. So what we try and do in this, and I feel really lucky to be part of this period of Navajo weaving, because what we have the opportunity to do is to work with younger weavers and some of the people who ultimately will continue to do this for the art's sake as opposed to an additional $100, $200 a month kind of thing. So it's been a really rewarding thing to find these young weavers, try and keep them going, and ultimately they'll go to school or they'll get a job, they'll do something else, and for maybe the next 20 years they won't weave, but they know how, they have that foundation, and hopefully they'll go back into it and do it.